Where We're From highlights the rich textures, histories, and experiences of the Asian, Pacific Islander, and Desi American community. Each episode is produced by students at San Jose State University.
Ever since the beginning of the film industry, most Asians have been casted solely based on their phenotype. Their ideal Asian in films are nerds who are good at math, martial artists that could take on whole armies, or the funny foreign person that everyone laughs at because they have a funny accent and a misunderstanding of English. This is not a dig at the amazing Asian actors whose real-life martial arts skills were used in films, like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, but more so towards all of the Asian actors in films that were created and casted specifically for their ethnicity. Usually, that is the most interesting thing about them, their Asian stereotype. Over time, Asian Americans in cinema have started to get the recognition they deserve, but that did not happen suddenly without change. There have been many groups and people that have changed the film industry for better for Asian Americans and people of color. A more recent example of this change is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a recent film that has transcended the stereotypical Asian identity that always seems to seep through into even the most mainstream films and franchises.
Hello, everyone. This is episode 3 of the Procrastinators podcast. Today, we will be talking about a new monarchy in the film industry, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the theme is popular culture. I'm Josh.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Angelo.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Chuan.
Now, our first discussion question is, how have Asian Americans been discriminated against in the past in the film industry?
So in my research, I found that Asian and Pacific Islander characters in the entertainment industry are often portrayed in the comedic manner. According to the study, I'm Not a Fetish or Model Minority that analyzed the top 10 grossing film from 2010 to 2019. The results show that audience were being asked to laugh at nearly half of the roles, while only a quarter of the characters were actually comedic themselves. From the characters analyzed in the study, 35% were portrayed using the stereotypes such as model minority, martial artist, or exotic woman.
That's pretty interesting because there's definitely much more to Asian Americans than just being a model minority or martial artist or exotic woman. And I think it's important now that has changed, right? Because you have so many Asian Americans that are looking for like a role model and like representation in the media, whereas white people, they can look up to a lot of people, right? But with Asian Americans, who do you look up to, right? You're gonna see all these people. Sure, you can look up to Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, but what about Asians that don't like martial arts, right? Who are they gonna look up to?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, say they want to be like a cook or something, just in different areas and different fields that they may want to be, but they just don't have a role model in that area to look up to.
Yeah, there really is just a lack of representation of Asian main roles, I guess, because all the people that like Jiwon were describing they could only fit as side characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't be main characters. So their screen time is a lot lower. Their value as a character in the movie is a lot lower. Like there's no meaning to them besides just to laugh at or to like sexualize. So I think that's the main reason why a lot of people can't look up to Asian characters in films besides the ones that we obviously know are bad.
Yeah, it really sucks, especially because the small amount of screen time that they actually do get, they just get bullied, and then the people who like, relate to that just feel even worse. So to add on to that, I have the perspective of Anna May Wong, who is a Chinese American actress that wanted to be casted in a movie called The Good Earth, and there were a lot of Chinese characters in that movie, so she like wanted to be casted in it because it would just fit her. However, the producers wanted to cast a white male to play the lead role, who was Chinese, and she was never considered to play the wife because at the time it was against the law for an Asian woman to be cast opposite of the white man. So they had to get another white woman to play another Chinese character instead. And when given like an alternative, she was only given the role of a concubine or like a prostitute, which like fit into what Jiwon said about how like they over-sexualize Asian women. So as a result of all that, like the movie, which is about Chinese farmers trying to like survive, consists of a majority of white characters who are yellow facing.
When I was like researching as well, I remember reading that all these main, predominantly like white main characters were never in relationships with people of colors just because they weren't allowed to. Right? There's like no mixed relationships in these movies. They're just white people with other white people. But even if it's supposed to be a different race, they just dress one of them up like a different person.
Well, when I was also researching, I found I researched Ki Hoan Kwan, who was an actor in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but in that which was very successful in that movie. He won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, but it did not start that way for his career. He was in the early 80s. He was a child actor, and he was acted in Indiana Jones and The Goonies, which are both very, very successful movies. However, after that, he just could not find roles and eventually gave up to quit acting for 25 years, where he worked just backstage because he still just enjoyed being a part of film so much. That was his passion. But it took him 25 years to get the role in that movie, and it made his dreams come true. And he gave a very heartwarming speech as he was accepting his Oscar.
I think for his story, like a majority of people will look at it and say like, oh, the American dream is true, like talking about how like he worked hard and stuff, but no one really talks about how like there's like some discrimination in like this scene and like how he had to struggle.
Yeah, he shouldn't have had to struggle that much because he was already successful at a young age and he just didn't get his recognition.
It's also a lack of promotion, and like you can't really like continue your job since there's no marketing like places for you to even do. Okay, that sounds so weird.
Yeah. And like you said that he didn't really get that many acting jobs, right? Even after Everything Everywhere All at Once, I read somewhere that he still isn't getting acting jobs despite like despite his like really good performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like I'm pretty sure I think he only has like one other job with like the same his with the same co-stars from Everything Everywhere All at Once and another show. I forgot what it was.
I swear, I think there was like a couple other shows that he was supposed to be in, but still nothing, nowhere near is what he should be getting for winning an Oscar and his performance.
I think like for Asian Americans, they also have like less pay less but than like the white counterparts. So like it's really not easy for like an Asian American to like stay in like the screen. Since they're paying less, they don't have the roles, and that means we have a lack of representation for like the Asian American.
Definitely, they just get pushed out.
All right, well, that leads into our next discussion question, which was what/how has it changed, and could it be better? From my research, I found the group East-West Players, which is a group of it started as a group of Asian American actors that seek to create roles outside of Asian American stereotypes, and they primarily did this through theater plays. And this group is kind of like in between the past and the future of Asian Americans in cinema, right? Because before you had Sesuiki, I forgot his last name, but he was like the one and only like Asian American actor. And then like with this group, there has been multiple other Asian American actors. Some of their notable alumni is Mako and Dante Bosco, who I know from Avatar: The Last Airbender as Uncle Iroh and Zuko. This group is so important to Asian Americans and just people of color in general because they help jumpstart these careers when, other agencies and production crews would not even give them a chance, right? Obviously, the East-West Players is good and not harmful whatsoever, but I mean, there really shouldn't be a reason for this group to exist because everyone should be given an equal opportunity despite the color of their skin.
Yeah, I also agree that this thing shouldn't exist, but I think it's a great thing currently since, there's obviously that lack that we mentioned. And so there's a group that was assembled to, I guess, counteract that and try to spread more Asian roles in film by, finding connections and jumpstarting a lot of people's careers. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, to add on to that, I just want to say that like because a lot of the solutions for Asian Americans to not be considered like the model minority is for them to like speak up and like work together and like rebel. And like I think this is a great way to like silently rebel against the Hollywood industry.
Coming together, forming that kind of community.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a failed experiment either. Like they have some prominent alumni, right? Like it's obvious that people want to see these Asian American actors, but for some reason it's just Hollywood and film companies just refuse to hire Asian Americans.
Mhm. Also, to answer the question of how has it changed, one fact that I remember reading was in the 88 years the Oscars existed in the past, they only won like 6.2% of nominations, or Asian films or Asian actors, sorry, only won 6.2% of nominations and 7.8% of wins. But then currently we could look at the Oscars like presently, like maybe a year ago when Everything Everywhere at Once, All at Once came out. I'm pretty sure that movie won like 7 awards and nominated for a lot more. So from that, we could see like a big change just from one movie, like one amazing movie getting all these awards. And I don't know. Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna talk about Parasite, but I'm pretty sure that's just a Korean movie, right? Not
Yeah,
Hollywood.
it's a Korean movie, but it was well accepted by American audiences, at least from what I know personally, because everyone that I talked to about the movie loved it. And I think that's just like people want to see more, like people want to see more Asian American actors. Asian Americans want to see more Asian American actors. I feel it's kind of it's stupid how like I don't want to say I don't want to say like capitalize on it, right? But Hollywood should be capitalizing on Asian Americans in cinema because there's so many Asian Americans that like want to feel represented, right? And they just don't have that. And if Hollywood could, like, I don't want to sound capitalist, I guess, but Hollywood could be making a lot of money if
Yeah,
they actually had like some prominent Asian Americans in lead roles.
All on their market.
yeah.
Also, for like the same director that did Parasite, he also did Snowpiercer that I think that is in American. I think the film was based on like white and Asian Americans actors coming together to make the film, and also African American actors.
Yeah, I mean, I think like what Josh was saying, like to bring in more money. I mean, Parasite was like it won many awards like worldwide, right? And so that's with, all most fully maybe Asian cast. So I don't know why they wouldn't look at, or Hollywood wouldn't look at think of, oh, let's cast some Asian Americans and maybe we'll maybe we'll get the same result, right? But I don't see
Yeah,
that happening.
yeah, and it's great because like I, I mean from what I remember in Parasite, I don't think anything I don't think anything in the movie was like stereotypically Asian. At least the concept doesn't have to be the concept isn't stereotypically Asian, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, that wraps up our third episode of the Procrastinators podcast. The next episode is episode 4, where we will be discussing the Chinese massacre of 1871.
Thank you for listening to Where We're From. This podcast is produced by students enrolled in Dr. Joanne Rondilla's Asian American Studies courses at San Jose State University.